Now, I would like to find out from you, because I've heard, not heard, even I've seen on social media platform, and rightly I'm assuming you must have also come across certain messages. Oh, we are young, it won't affect us. It will only affect people who are senior citizen. I'm doing this and this. And you've also already touched about the tawakkul of Allah. Now, that's one side for our youngsters, especially some of them, not all of them, of course. Now, the other side of it, we have got, alhamdulillah, a lot of our Muslim community are involved in businesses. Apart from all the helps and support that are available from the government scheme and whatever has been announced, but still there is a worry at the end of the day that how will I feed my children? How will I look after my family? What will happen to me? That constant worry. And that, again, we've seen study has shown us that impacts the mental well-being. Now, yes, we know we have to have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, there are means available, whatever we can take to our advantage within the legal guidelines. Now, but still there is that constant fear of lack of job or loss of job or business, etc. And that fear, whether someone says it or not, it's still lingering at the back of the head. And some people are even, we can see the way they are putting it out on the social media platform. One may wonder that are they not crossing the tawakkul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if like they know better than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What would you take beyond that?
Well, we have to balance. I don't like speaking in absolutes in these matters, right? And these things are not as so absolute, which is why the questions of qadr are complex and they're difficult. And therefore, we face a situation where we have to balance the baseline, which is trusting in Allah and rida bil qada. We trust Allah. What that means is, that doesn't mean that all circumstances will end up in our favor. If that was the case, then Anbiya wouldn't be tested, right? And Anbiya are the most tested. They live some of the most difficult lives that we've seen in Islamic history. So therefore, trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't about having it easy, isn't about having it comfortable, isn't about never facing difficulty. Trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is about trusting in the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all circumstances, good and bad. It's wal qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi. That believing in qadr is to believe that the good of it and the bad of it is from Allah, right? Qadr, believing in qadr isn't wal qadri khayrihi wa khayrihi, right? It's not all good, right? Nor is it all bad. There are ups and downs. So that's the first thing. So that is your bottom line. I think inshallah ta'ala, hopefully we can all, that is a spiritual station. That by no means, it means that we have to ignore matters that are practical matters of earning a livelihood, as well as some of the issues that are to do with holding the government to account and making our voices heard with regards to perhaps legislation or decisions or etc., either locally or nationally, that may be going against our best interest. So I'm not implying, I'm not going to undermine people's concerns with regards to their livelihood and say, oh, just accept whatever comes. If there is a local decision with regards to lockdown or restrictions, etc., that seems to be detrimental to your business needs, then then please be active and do make your voice heard and do perhaps engage in the necessary fora to suggest alternative solutions and so on. Make your voices heard, remain active in that sense. So tawakkul does not preclude economic activity. Okay. Both in terms of specific economic activity with regards to oneself, whether we have our jobs or don't have our jobs, and nor does it preclude more wider kind of collective economic activity. The key is that whatever the end result is, we accept. All right? That is tawakkul, and that is qadr. And of course, whatever the circumstances are, some people have completely lost their jobs and they're difficult. We do, at least people in this country need to, at least sometimes you have to consider different sides of the coin to bring yourself to a state of equilibrium, to a state of balance. So on the one hand, yes, it's tough, yes, it's difficult, yes, it's extremely stressful to lose our job, but to balance things out, we have to look at the flip side of the coin, and that is that, let's face it, right, how many people are going to starve in this country? We're not going to starve, and our children are not going to starve in this country. We are going to face relative hardship. Part of that hardship is going to be stress, right? But that perspective and knowing that there are other people in the world who will actually starve because of coronavirus, who will actually die not of the virus, but they will die from the circumstances created by the virus, from the economic climate created by the virus, right?
Indeed.
They will die because of homelessness and because of other diseases that they have been exposed to as a result of losing their home, losing their income, etc., etc. So therefore, people will end up having to commit crimes, and people will end up women will end up exploited, children will be exploited as a result of the economic climate created by COVID in other countries where we don't have, where the resources that are available to us here are not available. So yes, on the one hand, do be concerned and constructively focus on solutions, focus on what you can do, right? Don't worry too much about what is beyond your control, because that's when things get too depressive. But on the other hand, look at the other side of the coin and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hopefully that will bring us to that state of equilibrium, that middle ground that will keep us, yes, stressed, yes, challenged, but keep us in a state of mental equilibrium and some degree of mental well-being in what is, of course, a difficult time.